Where there's a will, there is willpower in an arrogant light. The stage is set for the MC to lose some important characters in the process, just so Will can finally start obtaining the truth of his existence. It is a sword and an awakening that many recent shonen characters have achieved. Increased power, unlocking hidden lore, and white hair. Spoiler warning, as I will speak lightly about future spoilers, but stay anyways, because you can't help yourself. This episode of Wistoria, Season 2, Episode 3, or Episode 15 overall, Tata Hitotsu no Maho, covers chapters 25, A Sea of Shards, or chapter 26, In a Sea of Scattered Shards, chapter 26, One Spell, or chapter 27, A Single Spell, after Roasty sacrifices himself back into Elfaria's memories. Every time Will is at a breaking point and at his lowest, Wignall Sensei believes in wand and sword and catches the MC before he drops to his doom. With Will crying out the roasty, Elfaria conveniently wakes up without being slapped. Like No Eyes Logwell, Reivew is sick of standing around while they watch atop the tower with Old King's command of not going anywhere. Carriot is on Aaron's command that if the Magia Vander falls, so does the barrier that literally protects the world from the celestial hosts. They have to make their choice, and Carriot will not allow Zio to go out on a limb to protect a few versus the entire world, especially in their weakened state, as they should just wait to recover anyways. The man other Magia Vanders that call him barbarians doesn't care about some title and being a coward. But once again, Carriot tells them to go back to his seat or else it will happen by force. After Guildford Zergus gets surprised by Zio's attempt to enter the battlefield, Lafia Ziridis asks Eleanor what her next steps are, but elves just don't care about a nation that is not their own. But Philvis Chalia brings up that one of their kin is still here in Wignall, and so Eleanor sends out someone to his aid. This was a scene that was left out in this part of the manga, giving Will's counterparts a bit more character development. Even Sarissa has added dialogue that about half of the Magia Vendors want to break Old King's commands to not help out the tower. But Elfie has had enough and starts off her angry lady strut many men with girlfriends and wives are also familiar with. Sarissa isn't stopping Elfaria's rage this time as she storms the Old King. Listen here, Aaron, take back your order. You're wasting everyone's time, but an Old King said what he said, and he will stand by that decision. They lock eyes, and it's the kind of glare that you can sense in a crowded subway stop. Things start to light up and get cold. Elfaria has made her decision. Elfaria, Albis, Vina, Serfort will help her man Will Serfort, and the rest of her friends out. If anyone tries to stop her, then she too will pull a Reivew and beat the crap out of another Magia Vander. Sarissa is seeing her young Magia Vander all growed up and not in the way she was thinking. Old King just gives her a glare and stare, and now off to Will's post-traumatic experience along with therapist Wignall Sensei. But before that scene, that is where the episode decides to play the opener, which was a great tension starter for the episode. I think the anime has done a great job at trying to build some of these other characters that the manga wasn't able to do with characters like a Wignall and Eleanor. Because to me, they are basically just elf versions of Will and Elfaria. And the anime was also able to include another person in the Win faction for this scene. The Devander and Dino Boros was taking out mages and dwarves left and right, with Will being their last hope. But he's still thinking about Roasty. He can't protect anyone the same way the tower took Elfie away from him. All of Will's PTSD is just flowing through his anger and tears. Is it because he's magicless that he can't protect anyone? Because he's a no-talent laggard? It's all his fault. Wignall Sensei has his hands tied with a depressed teenager to get him the man up. But Will is still teary-eyed in his misery of not being able to use magic, making that the reason he can't save anyone. We have to put Wignall Sensei's words times 10. Shut the f up and don't pull an Ikari Shinji. You're supposed to be a hero, man. However, Will is still distraught, and they run into the blonde bad guy as he pulls a Gilgamesh. As Marze senses that Will would be a menace to their plans, even more so than the dwarves, he launches an array of sharp objects to take them all out at once. But Wignall Sensei might have a little surprise. The scene shifts to an anime-only moment as Colette helps save Wignall's behind before an explosion is heard off in the distance. Colette picks up that Will is in danger, with Lihanna asking, why is she dozing off? Have no fear, Kiki is here. But Kiki is bloodied and sad, with Colette determining that the blood might be Roasty's. But you know, what about Will? The anime censorship in this anime is just slightly annoying, as some of the things that they take out, they don't necessarily need to. And some of the most hard-hitting moments is the most brutal of moments, like Roasty's death. I think it's fine what they did in the previous episode, but they could have hit harder, like this panel here. But in the scene with Kiki, they actually just left out the blood and left out some of that dialogue. And in the first episode, they took away Elfair's booty. Colette takes Kiki and flees to have Kiki take her to Will. Sion follows after her because he's been trying to get some. It's up to Wignall and Julius to stall here. Julius gets the command to conjure his clones, but your boy don't like taking commands from the homies. As Lihanna, Wignall tells him to hurry the f up. The headless one is really having a blast, seeing the blonde-headed one, Marze, is having. And so he sends something else out there to go join him on the festivities. He launches a pew-pew that leads the Devander to head towards the tower near Central Flows. Like what was mentioned before, the Defenders have caught Magia Bender bodies before, and Crush Lewis tries to stop it, but Sarah has been claried. Edward Sensei is just diabolical. Yo dwarves, it's time to yeet yourselves to protect all of us. Ah, hell nah! They've been protecting and dying this entire time, including Donan's men. Edward Sensei doesn't give a f. Yes, go sacrifice yourself for the safety and security of the city and children. Out of everyone, Julius calls out the Gina as the monster comes for her head, but Edward Sensei redeems himself by getting backstabbed, literally. Edward Sensei finds himself on top of a brute of a woman, but a woman no doubt, as he answers back with save a full meanness. Everyone is confused by Edward Sensei's actions, but his words and intentions are always misconstrued. That his life is even worth less because magic can't do anything to mage slayers, but dwarven lives matter more. So go die for everyone, like I will. Alright guys, go get yourselves for the other women and children downtown. Another anime-only scene gets placed here with Colette using a Frubis Juliet to fend off against monsters. Even Sion gets some added dialogue with Colette telling him that Will might be in trouble. Colette pulls off another spell with Steer Viola. As Sion, Colette, and Kiki continue running towards Will, Sion senses danger and tells Colette to run, but not on this monster's watch. Colette tries to pull a Loir sick nasty, but it's not going off with Sion, screaming out to her. Edward is jacked up. Wignall is MIA. The forces in the Western District has collapsed, and high mages are getting lodged. The enemy continues to advance, even with the dwarves' help to take down many mage slayers. The Devander is just unstoppable. Since the episode only adapts 2 chapters, this is where a majority of the anime only scene begins. About time Rose gets some shine in Wistoria as Colette's most positive bestie and good friend does her part in saving the world because she was MIA in the manga. A bunch of NPCs and side characters get additional dialogue, along with Sion's homies that will save. Eliza even pulls up Uvere in the anime, as she's also pretty much non-existent in the manga until like the Gosha arc. The anime has done a pretty good job actually making Eliza a little bit more than just comedic relief, because that's just how I remember her if you guys read the manga. And right here and now, the anime decides to plant the seeds for future arcs, introducing a character like Emma. That was about a 3-minute stretch plus more of anime only scenes from just these 2 panels that leads to Iris asking for reinforcements. But it's quite looking bleak as she hears the voices of terror. Finn appears like nothing major happened to ask for the sword. Who the hell are you? Aren't you the Danmachi guy? Finn pulls the sword out of the ground to once again ask about the location of the sword. And that is where chapter 25, A Sea of Shards, or chapter 26, In a Sea of Scattered Shards, ends. Being over a half an episode through, this part of the episode covers chapter 26, one spell, or chapter 27, a single spell. Marze is impressed that he would get hit with a potentially lethal blow, but at least the blonde-headed bad guy took a chunk out of him too. The dragon, Werkner Sensei, and Will find themselves on the ground, and Will finally snaps out of it to come to. He looks up to see where they are exactly, with Werkner Sensei saying that they crashed into the western city limits, and all he could do in the meantime is keep the sword alive. How much trauma does our MC need to overcome? Every single one. After limiting a little bit of the brutality on Rosti, Kiki, and Elfaria booty, the animators knew what to do by putting a camera inside of Werkner Sensei's empty stomach. But it's hard to compete with this. Werkner Sensei tells him that you're humanity's only hope, and he knows that Will can help save the city. Will is still crying like a Kiki. But come on, man, look at Werkner Sensei. Do you want that hole to be in vain? How was Will supposed to save everyone if everyone he cares about keeps getting a giant hole blown through their entire body? He confesses that he can't change anything because a sword just can't. But on his knees to continue telling his sensei, with a hole in his body looking worse than Toji's, that a laggard like him could never. Falling to his knees as well, Werkner Sensei beats 2 birds with 1 stone, likely falling from having a giant hole where his organs used to be, and one where it will encourage the MC to do the thing we all expect. He tells him that he's been lying to him this entire time. You can use magic. It's 1 spell you can use to give everyone hope, as his arms go limp. Mate! Wait a minute. Don't die just yet, Werkner Sensei. You have to tell your boy what it is. What spell can Will Serfort use? Where there's a will, there is willpower, and an ardent light can cut through anything. Finn appears like a prophecy that Werkner Sensei will be okay. It's totally not a Toji situation, but I mean, are you sure? Finn reassures Will that Werkner will be okay because he still somehow has a pulse. This is no time for underappreciated side characters. It's about you, buddy. Why are you even moping around? The stage has been set for the hero to pull an ultra instinct. Silver and light and willpower ain't about no fire and wind, but it's about feelings. A self-suggestion, self-affirmation, resolve. It's like a war cry for swords like you that can turn lies into truths. What kind of mumbo jumbo is this? It's no mumbo jumbo. It's called shonen, boy. You have to pull a Himo the hero and make the impossible possible because you're a sword that wants to become a wand. And how will you do it? Do you understand a part of your backstory? Nope, because that is one of the biggest mysteries of this entire series. Go back to the beginning of your life because the lock has already been broken. Take your sword and go be the hero you were always meant to be. It's time for a quest to go beyond the darkness of the false sky. Finn clenches his fist so hard that blood starts to drip, and a drop of blood lands right on top of the sword. Lightning starts to roar, and Finn continues to tell him that Will already knows the spell that he needs to awaken his true self. Will's life flashes before him, with Finn continuing on like a shaman to help conjure something truly magical, as the name of the spell is something lame, like courage. Instead, we can keep it Japanese and say Juki or bravura. With the limiters off, Will's sword is drawn. His hair becomes Mashiro and goes full Reivew all over the city to chop down each and every monster one by one. And that includes NPCs, Edward Sensei, Julius, Lihanna, Wignall, Donan, and even Gina. They all get saved by Will. Thinking that Elfie and Reivew was about to go do something, but both of them are still in the tower, putting on a smile as your boy is, blowing by all these monsters as he continues to protect the mother, her child, and Iris, all the way until the point where the monster is getting ready to take down Sion, trying to protect Colette and Kiki. This time, Colette tells Sion to run because he will be facing death. But he's too hard-headed, and it's because it's something Will never do. He hits us with the oxymoron like that brave coward would never, and that he'd rather get monster blasted than let the flunky beat him. Will's inner dialogue begins as he's actually the one jealous of Sion, someone with a wand, as he himself is just a selfish, pathetic loser, and so from now on, let me be your mage blade, Will of the Lone Sword. Is that you, Will? Once again, guys, I believe not only is the anime episode very good in itself in its adaptation of the manga, I think you guys should just read the manga as well and read both versions. I think Toshi Aoi, the person that illustrates Fujino Omori's story of Wistoria, the illustrations, the artwork is just top notch. On the flip side, a couple of things you do get more from the anime is a bit more additional context and additional action scenes. Sometimes I do prefer the pacing to slow down a bit, and if they're gonna stretch out a chapter, please stretch out a chapter that shows a lot more characters that we really don't get to see, that probably deserves a lot more spotlight. So I love it when characters like Rose, Eliza, and Eleanor, and some of her people in the Wind faction, they get a little bit more screen time. And I think the big moment here is when Will kind of comes to power with Finn being there to help him release it. That is the biggest moment probably in this entire arc, along with probably what Elfair would do next. The music in Wistoria is okay, it's nothing spectacular, but it's not bad either, especially for an epic moment like this. And like I said, if you guys enjoyed the anime scene with Finn, you're gonna enjoy it just as much if you read both the versions in the manga. So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about this overall episode of the anime, or if you guys read the manga too. I would love to know in the comments below what you guys think. Appreciate you guys watching. See you guys on the next video.